I guess we're time to start in here. So welcome to the AMLC, which is Associate Members Liaison Committee. Vibrant videos, what makes a successful video on both sides of the camera? It's a very loose topic, so I think today we're going to make three 10-minute presentations and then open up questions, and we can talk about anything related that you guys want to talk about. So this was set up by David Umeda and Simon Farrell in the back here. So, I'm Randy Schmidt. I'm the moderator and also panelist today, along with John Flanagan from A&E and Rodrigo Marin, who's a freelance photographer and videographer. So I think we'll probably just do self-introductions, and then John can present first.
Okay. Thank you very much. So I am Managing Director of Japan and Southeast Asia. Oh, sorry, it's not. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so I'm John Flanagan, Managing Director of Japan and Southeast Asia for A&E Global Media. We are a New York-based company owned 50% by Disney and 50% by Hearst. And you probably know Hearst as the company that makes all the magazines. They do many, many more things. So just full disclosure, though, these guys are the real creative guys. I'm the guy, the business guy, who says you're spending too much money. But I'm also the guy that has to take responsibility to make sure the video works and has the right ratings and that sort of thing. So it's a little bit different perspective. And so why don't we start just with, we just created this sizzle reel, which just shows the breadth of all the stuff that our company makes. We're in 200 countries, and we have these brands, and Marquee, History, probably History Channel, you've probably heard of that. Lifetime is a women's channel. Crime Investigation is our international, non-US crime channel. And H2, we don't really have much of it anymore, and FYI is our lifestyle channel. These are not available, F2 and FYI are not available in Asia, but they are elsewhere. So we create so much content every year, and you'll see in the videos the breadth of what we do. We do, of course, documentaries, we do docudramas, we do a lot of reality, so unscripted, and we also do scripted. So we do we're the largest producer of movies for TV, and it's mostly on Lifetime, which is the women's channel, as you remember. And also we produce drama series for other companies like Netflix and terrestrial TV channels. So Netflix, our biggest show, is a show called Lincoln Lawyer, which is called a Netflix original, but actually it's our company that makes it. So we're all kinds of stuff we're making. So why don't I just show you this quick? It's about 4 minutes, so a little bit longer.
Before you play it.
Yep.
Can we dip these lights down?
Okay, thank you. So here we go.
This is A&E.
This is A&E Global Media.
These are the stories that make us who we are.
I'm so excited to be partnering with A&E.
If you have a story to tell, this is the place to be.
It's all about the passion for storytelling.
We're trying to open the curtain on what it is we love.
We're taking you along for the ride.
This is why we do what we do.
You haven't seen anything yet.
Some say I'm living my dream, but I just call it living.
I love that feeling of living on the edge.
I have always been passionate about history. We're unearthing unseen footage, rare home video, to bring you the definitive story of World War II.
The West has a power like nowhere else to fire the imagination and stir the soul.
It's been said that seeing is believing.
What we find can change history.
Mind if I interrupt? Secrets can be uncovered. Mysteries can be unraveled.
Stories so improbable that they defy comprehension.
Revealing the mysteries of the universe.
We're up against the clock.
Somebody out there knows something.
It truly is a calling.
It's go time.
I'd love to set a lot of things straight.
We're going to find out who did this.
But you cannot do all this by yourself.
This is how superstars are made.
That's what I'm talking about.
There's a truly relatable and often inspiring story just below the surface.
You're not defined by your past. You can choose.
I've been waiting to tell my story, and I believe the world is ready to hear it.
All the love was in the music. That's what makes it so astounding.
It's so important for me to tell a story, but also have it be impactful.
I'll pop the popcorn. It's like a fairy tale.
Maybe this all happened for a reason.
This is that one shot.
I didn't come in to lose. I don't think any of us have experienced the extreme we're about to get into.
It is going down right now.
That's the school.
We're all grateful for what we're doing. We tell stories for a living.
Help me find out what really happened.
As you can see, my success speaks for itself.
It's opening up a whole new frontier.
And it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Holy cow, nailed it.
Let's freaking go.
I'm David Duchovny.
Tom Hanks.
Garcelle Beauvais.
I'm Kevin Costner, and this is A&E Global Media.
As you can see, just an enormous amount. Oh, thank you. An enormous amount of content we're producing every year. But the question of today is what makes a successful video, and I think my colleagues here will have much more pertinent advice than I have. And there are many things that are just quite obvious. Of course, you want stunning visuals, and you want an engaging cast, memorable storytelling, and this is a really important factor that many people miss. They just think if it looks good, it'll attract audiences. It's got to have a great story, and the story has got to have an emotional connection with the viewer. But my job is to make a profit, so if we don't make a profit, then no one's going to call you back to do another one. So you've got to make sure that you're making a really good video that really drives things. And so we've positioned ourselves as the home of some of the world's best storytellers. So this is our sort of key theme for the company. We also got stuck. Sorry, guys. So let me see. There we go. So in Japan, we also do productions, and we created this brand called A&E Creative Partners, which is our team that creates all of our content. And let me show you just a few quick examples. One of my favorites, and this goes back to 2020, was the definitive post-war history of Japan called Tokyo Legacy, so told through Tokyo. So here's just the opening.
Tokyo, one of the most welcoming cities on the planet. Hardworking, creative, and cool, Tokyo is considered a trailblazer for tomorrow's world.
The great science fiction writer William Gibbs, saying, when I want to see the future, I go spend a week in Tokyo, right?
But behind Tokyo's journey to excellence is a forgotten story of suffering.
Everyone was starving.
Internal conflict.
Fanatic students and leftist groups rioted for days on end, seeking...
And the repercussions of Mother Nature.
Very big shock to Japanese society.
But with every tragedy or struggle, Tokyo always responds.
But Japanese are quite good at this kind of tricky situation. The discipline was quite there.
This is Tokyo Legacy.
And also, you may have seen some FCCJ videos. We're the company behind that's really excited and honored to be able to work with FCCJ to bring all the stories from the club to life. And here's just one example.
日本外国特派員協会ヒストリーチャンネルが送るオリジナルドキュメンタリーシリーズ歴史の証言。戦後から現代に至るまで数多くの記者会見の記録をたどり、膨大な音声と写真アーカイブをもとに歴史的瞬間が今よみがえる。1976年、世界中が固唾を飲んで見守った世紀の異種格闘技戦。挑発的な言葉、鋭い眼差し、時にユーモアを交えた絶戦。歴史の証言、あの日何が語られたのか。燃える闘魂 VS 世界の攻撃王。
I didn't come to Japan to leave my title, to lose no prestige to you. I come to destroy you. I got to go back to the United States. I'm the hero there. I can't go get beat in Japan. I got to go out victorious. I got some movies to make.
言いたいことはずっとあるんですが、通訳に全部言ってありますんで、あとは英文でこれお願いしたいと思います。
I win most of my fights at the lunch table. Gago who? What'd you say?
He said, speech is silver, silence is gold.
Oh, I thought he said mother. The world is listening to you, boy. I'm making you big. You know you making $4 million. That's more money than you'll make if you wrestle 100 years. That's because you fight Muhammad Ali. You'll never make no money. You'll never make $100,000 wrestling. You meeting the king of all kings. I'm the Lord of the Rings. And the world's prettiest athlete. 800 million will watch this, boy. You're not fighting one of them fat belly wrestlers. You're fighting the greatest athlete of all time.
This is certainly going to be his first appearance on the international stage. At the same time, it'll probably be Mr. Ali's last appearance on the international stage.
I love the Japanese people. They have such great hospitality. They are so sweet and humble. But you, the only one I can't stand. Open it. All right? Open it. Just rip it off. I'm gonna humiliate him, embarrass him.
Violate him. Bruno. その時は俺はね、今度は腕じゃなくて、口を今度は塞ぐやつになる。
All I like to say is that all of my life, I have always wanted to fight a wrestler.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
I knew you could talk. I knew.
So as you can see, we didn't have any video to play with, so trying to add some effects to make it come out and having the sound monitor try to bring some action to it. I'll just show one more 30-second clip of a documentary we did on washoku, which came out in the spring, and it's just a 30-second promo.
和食のやっぱ基本の理念としては食材を生かすという観念ではあまりそこに中の一番立ったところを見つけ出して提供するっていうことだと思うんですね。
神様に捧げる料理ですから、それは美しくなければいけない。そしてそれを実現させたのが切るという技術。
He's not a misoshiro. He's art.
There we go. I'll just end here.
Did Tokyo Legacy already air?
Yes.
Okay.
In 2020.
Okay. Oh,
Yep.
Okay. And how long is that? It's a series of.
Oh,
how
no,
many
is
episodes?
one 2-hour
okay.
episode. So 45 or 90-minute runtime.
Oh,
so.
great. Okay. Next up will be Rod.
Oh, thank you.
We're going to switch a couple of cables around.
Okay.
So yeah, if you could first give us a more complete introduction of who
Yes.
you are and what you do.
Sure. Actually, it's a pleasure to share this table with John and Randy. I feel a little nervous because it's not so common I'm in front of the cameras. I usually are behind to the camera. So I'm from Mexico City, and my major is journalism, and my specialize is photojournalism and professional journalism. But in some moment of my career, as photographers, we say we move to the dark side, like a video, right? Because I don't know, some photographers consider the video is next step of the photography, and some of them say, no, you don't cross the line, don't cross the line. But finally, I have crossed the line. So no, it was very nice actually, because as my understanding, photography capture a moment, but videography is like capture an action. So, well, anyway, I don't know. We can see here. Sorry, just let me see. When I came to Japan in 2008, I started working with a photo agency, which name is Japanese photo agency, which name is AFLO. So with AFLO, we work in the editorial and creative contests as photo stock, video stock, sometimes for companies creating stories about the video. And well, there are some. When I was preparing this presentation, I was thinking that to divide my presentation into two topics: first, in front of the camera, and second, behind the camera. So, the first is in front of the camera. In my university, when I was in Mexico, the university was founded by a very famous TV reporter. So mainly the focus of this university was to create video reporters. So obviously we have a more focus on TV, but honestly I didn't like to be in front of the camera. So sometimes I did it, but sometimes mainly I prefer to be behind the cameras or behind the TV cameras. So, well, I don't want to stop so much in this part, but okay, there are 9 things and that I consider is important for when you are in front of the camera as a TV reporter. Like real emotion creates connection with the person you interview. Of course. Speaking clearly and confidence in front of the camera. Sometimes, for example, when you interview someone, I think it's important to keep eye contact. Maybe not so common in Japan, but I think it's very important to us. For example, in Mexico, in my country, if you don't see the person directly, it means you are lying. So it's important to keep eye contact with someone you are speaking or interviewing. And well, I don't know if you want to take notes. It's okay. Honestly, I don't want to be so serious. It's not like a class, right? So just let me tell you something. When it was in the pandemic, I received an email from TUDN. It's a new TV company made by Univision in US and Televisa in Mexico. So it's the TUDN. It was in 2020, I guess. Yeah, because it was the 100 days ahead to the Olympics. So they contact me and they say, okay, we need to do some live streaming of what's going on with the Olympics. Is going to be held or not? I say, okay, let me contact someone to be in front. I can be the cameraman. It's no problem. And then they say, okay, but we need a professional journalist. So we don't need influencer. We need someone who is professional journalist, who speaks Spanish. So I gave them some choices, but at the end they say, sorry, but could you do it? And I say, oh my God, okay. So sometimes, the point is, sometimes you need to be ready. Even if you don't want to, as a freelance, sometimes you don't have choice, or the opportunities happens to you. It's really how you want to see. It's good luck, bad luck. In my case, it's opportunity, and I'm always happy and to say yes. Of course, it's a good challenge. Why not? So the next, this one is the video. I don't know.
Nos llena de esperanza. Es una luz que alumbra un nuevo mañana. Un aliento para el mundo. Es una llama que nos vuelve a encender. Es el fuego de los juegos. Y nosotros ya lo encendimos. Vive lo mejor de los Juegos Olímpicos Tokio 2020 por los canales de Televisa.
Nosotros ya encendimos el fuego de los Olímpicos. Estamos a tan solo 100 días de la máxima fiesta deportiva del planeta Tokio 2020. Y como es costumbre, nosotros ya estamos en el país del sol naciente. Vamos con mi compañero Rodrigo Reyes, que nos tiene toda la información. Recuerden, a través de los canales de Televisa no van a perder momento alguno de la gran justa veraniega. Mi querido Rodrigo, vamos contigo hasta Tokio. ¿Qué hay de nuevo? Saludos.
Saludos Memo, buenos días desde Tokio. Acá ya es 14 de abril y estamos oficialmente a 100 días del arranque de los Juegos Olímpicos. Los preparativos están entrando en su recta final y muy de a poco la ciudad ya empieza a sentir el espíritu de los Juegos. Pero vamos a ver la siguiente pieza. Tomó un año más de lo esperado, pero finalmente los Juegos Olímpicos están a la vuelta de la esquina. Tokio empieza a mostrarse como el epicentro deportivo del mundo. Los adornos alusivos a la máxima justa a 100 días de distancia son todavía discretos, pero la ciudad se prepara para ser el epicentro deportivo del mundo. Los cubrebocas, como en casi todo el planeta, dominan el paisaje urbano. El alza en los casos de COVID-19 y el endurecimiento de las medidas sanitarias hacen que el ánimo del país por los Juegos aún esté contenido.
まだやるのかやらないのかも正直自分の中で分かってなくて、でもチケットとか持ってるんですけど、まあそれも実際
私はオリンピックは賛成派です。理由としましては、やはりいろいろコロナの状況とはあると思うんですが、そんな中でも観客を入れずにオンラインで。
Los Juegos Olímpicos más esperados de la historia moderna también son los que más nervios generan. A 100 días de la inauguración, los japoneses piensan más en su salud y en terminar cuanto antes una de las páginas más tristes de la humanidad contemporánea.
はい、私は今年開催するよりも、来年、再来年落ち着いてから開催した方がいいと思います。やはり今年開催するとして、海外からの海外からの方、あと日本の方含めて感染できないっていう状況もありますし、私は選手の
El reto es olímpico en Tokio. Quedan 100 días para hacer que el júbilo finalmente estalle. Hoy a las 10:30 de la mañana, tiempo local, habrá una ceremonia para celebrar el inicio de la cuenta regresiva de 100 días, en la que estarán autoridades del gobierno de Tokio y del comité organizador de los Juegos. Les mando un abrazo desde la capital olímpica y vuelvo con ustedes al estudio.
Igualmente para ti, fuerte abrazo, mi querido Rodrigo. Recuerden, ustedes tienen ya un boleto de primera fila para los Juegos Olímpicos de Tokio 2020 con...
Okay. So that was the live streaming. So, and the second part of my presentation is behind the camera. So I think most important is what do you want to communicate to the people? It really cares you or not? Because that one, it will be shown on what you prepare. So, for example, yeah, of course, professional equipment like professional lenses and cameras matters, but now we have a very wide technologies of cameras. Sorry. No, not yet. Okay, hold. Okay, so I think good and very important is sound, not only visual part. If the sound is not good, it doesn't work your job. So you need to keep very strictly with the sound. So pay attention with the sound. Oh, what's happened? Okay. Okay. So I don't want to extend so much. So if you read quickly and later maybe we can discuss some questions. If I can answer, I will be happy. Just I want to show you the another video that I filmed before for AFLO. That at that moment, our goal was to showcase some not so pop culture. A little more underground culture of Japanese culture. It was 2015, so not so many foreigners visiting Japan. People are curious about what is happening in Japan. Okay.
皆さん2日間どうもありがとうございました。私もこのような大きなイベントに出れてすごく嬉しく思ってます。いろんな人と触れ合って、もちろん来たお客さんもそうだし、スタッフさんとか、あとここにいるおっぱいガールのみんなとか、女子アナの皆さんとかと一つになることができて、すごいエロの力って無限大だなって思いました。これからもどんどんこのエロアダルト業界で頑張っていきたいと思うので、それのいい、なんていうんだろうな、実感する機会になってよかったです。スカパーの放送でも言ったんですけど、その国境を越えたエロの力っていうか、本当に多分4割とか5割の人が外国人の方だったんで、すごいこの力って本当にすごいなって思いました。これをおっぱいで感じた。おっぱいで感じました。皆さん本当にありがとうございました。
So yeah, sorry. Just I know it's a little not so soft topic, but my point is. Even if we don't show some literally, we can show to our viewers what we are talking about, right? And we try to care and ask many questions and select what is important, what is not. That it was a charity to prevent AIDS. So guests pay a ticket. They get whatever they want, but it was a good charity. The final goal was a good charity, and I don't know if they still doing now because 2-3 years later, this one became very, very popular between agencies. So I think because it was so how to say, many media, foreign media wants to cover, maybe they stop allowing them. So yeah, anyway, the point is to make a great video is create curiosity, catch attention, and I think most important is you really cares what you are talking about, because really you cannot cheat your audience. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Sorry. Okay, so again, my name is Randy Schmidt. I've been in Japan for 29 years, which I never expected. I came here with a 3-month tourist visa and was with the plan to stay for about a year, but I sort of lucked into a career in the TV news network news business, and I worked for CNN for a couple years. I worked for Reuters for a few years. I freelanced, and then most notably for 18 years I worked for CBS News, always based in Tokyo, but covering all of Asia. So for 18 years I was out of Japan over 6 months a year, mostly in China, and working as a cameraman and editor and occasionally producer, and making short breaking news stories and feature stories from all over, from India through China, North Korea, South Korea, Japan, of course, down to New Zealand, Australia. So it was quite a roller coaster for quite a while. So I'm going to show you 2 very different videos. The first one was from a trip to North Korea 10 years ago, a story that I shot and edited. I went to North Korea 9 times between 2008 and 2018. This is from a trip in 2015 and focuses on the reporter I worked with named Seth Doan, and our experiences covering North Korea. Okay, can we dim the lights? Yeah. So this, there's no sound at the verb.
Oh, no sound?
Okay. Oh, no, there should be sound here,
Yep.
though. Okay. Anyway, it starts with, I had nothing to do with the introduction. That's all done in New York City for the anchor woman for our morning TV program. That will introduce the story that we made in Asia.
North Korea this morning announced the official in charge of relations with South Korea was killed in a traffic accident. State media gave no details of what happened. It's another sign of the country's secrecy. Leader Kim Jong-un continues to ignore international sanctions. That volatile regime has clashed with neighboring South Korea and pushed ahead with its nuclear program. Earlier this year, North Korea did allow journalists inside the reclusive nation. Our Seth Doan was among them.
Reporting from North Korea is equal parts fascinating and frustrating. There's no doubt they're masters at putting on a show.
This is saber rattling on a very grand scale.
But it's hard to know what is performance and what is real. North Korea's government granted permission for us to visit this fall. We were bussed around like tourists.
We cannot choose where we'll go. We're brought to different places. Today, we're being brought to the birthplace of Kim Il-sung.
He's the founder of modern North Korea and the grandfather of current Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un. At this tourist stop, there was little chance of hearing tales of human rights abuse or hunger in this secretive state, which is infamous for both. They took us deep down into a metro station, and even here it was hard to know what was staged. Asking folks didn't add much clarity, especially with a government-assigned minder controlling with whom we could speak.
How about this lady here? I think she doesn't like it too, but we haven't asked. Can we ask?
Still, it was clear just how deeply the government touches its people.
Why do you want to wear Kim Il-sung?
This is my heart.
This is your heart. Do you wear that pin every day?
매일 모시고 다니죠.
매일 1시간도 떨어지지 않습니다.
This doesn't get off in even 1 hour.
We'd been granted access to this secretive country, but it felt more like we were being ushered around the city and shown to our seats at a show. There were actual performances, which demonstrated the precision and prowess of the softer side of this nuclear-armed state. Unbelievably, the government even took us to a dolphin performance. Here, the aim couldn't possibly have been to wow us with the tricks these marine mammals could do. No, the real show was next to us in the stands, seemingly happy and apparently middle-class North Koreans.
So can we talk to some people?
No.
Wait, I just want to talk to some of the people who came.
No, we don't have time. Yeah,
We don't have time?
We tried again outside.
How did you like the show?
Until our minder lost his patience.
We have to go. If this want to be a last trip, you do it.
Last trip, so you're saying if we interview
You can't
people,
come.
we can't come to North Korea?
You can't come.
This military parade was the focal point of our visit. It's what the government wanted us foreign journalists to broadcast home. A strong North Korea.
One of the things that you can't quite appreciate when you see this on television is with all of this goose stepping, while you're standing here, the ground is shaking.
But what struck us even more than the military might were the faces of those everyday people looking up at their leader, Kim Jong-un, in awe. Could that possibly be an act? Afterwards, we asked parade-goer Kim Soo-ha about the anti-American rhetoric we'd seen and heard here.
I'm an American. What do you think about that?
I didn't know you were an American, but it's quite surprising, she giggled. You're not as evil as what I've read about in books. There it was, a glimpse of something authentic, a sense that so much could be accomplished if we could only communicate for real. Seth Doan, CBS News, Pyongyang, North Korea.
So interesting to watch, right?
Seth did a good job about that.
He really
with that.
did. Can we talk to this person? No, they don't want to talk. Well,
At the dolphin show.
So a story like that, all these sort of travel assignments that I would do for CBS would typically be three people: the correspondent, producer, and myself as cameraman editor. And we would go into North Korea. This assignment was probably a 5-day assignment, travel day on both sides, and then 3 solid days of shooting. And we would do a story day and night. One for the evening news in the morning and for the morning news in the evening because of the time difference. One thing I was reminded of by this, so there's an argument in here between the correspondent and our minder. And right after, which I was openly shooting with the camera, and right after that, the minder demanded that I delete the video. And he sat down with me, and he watched as I deleted each clip, but I had quickly copied each clip before I did that, and then it was all used anyway. But then on a subsequent trip, I had the same minder, and I thought there would be a big problem, but there weren't any consequences. I don't know if he knew or not, but whatever. The only country where I've ever had to really delete footage is Japan, which was inside the shooting at the Fukushima power plant. They had their own minder, like a PR person, watching everything you shoot and telling you what you can and can't shoot all day. And then as we're leaving, they say, one other guy has to check your video, a security guy, and he demanded 1/3 of the footage all be deleted. So Japan has been the most censorship I've ever had.
Who from Japan? TEPCO?
Yeah, it was a TEPCO person, and it was all these crazy security things that
It wasn't government, it was TEPCO.
Yeah, exactly. But it was things like you couldn't, like there was a fence and there's some doorway. It's like you can't show that for some kind of security reasons. But yeah, Japan has been the biggest problem. But mostly in Japan, you shoot somewhere and people say you can't shoot here. They don't make you delete anything or get the police or anything. So there's usually no consequences. So this next video is completely different. After working in the news business for so many years, this past summer I've gone into AI filmmaking and making short films. And I made a series of 6 mockumentary films about Japan, like sort of fake comedy documentaries. And this is a 4.5-minute movie about Japanese salarymen, focusing on one in particular, in the height of the bubble economy of 1990. Okay.
News on the loose.
All done with AI.
1945. Japan goes down with a bang and surrenders with a whimper. But rising from the ashes to rebuild the nation is a strange new beast, the Japanese salaryman. A curious species of white-collar warrior sacrificing personal pleasure by pledging endless hours and undying dedication to his company. In exchange, lifetime employment. Fast forward to 1990. Real estate is sizzling. Nightclubs are decadent, and money flows like champagne. All those years of sacrifice have finally paid off. What is a day like in the life of one of these champions of capitalism? Meet Hiroshi Tanaka. Tanaka-san and his wife Seiko live with their 2 young children in a cramped, cluttered home on the outskirts of Tokyo. 8 a.m. The kids have already left for school. Tanaka-san wakes up with a serious hangover. He wolfs down his breakfast. His wife combs his hair, gives him lunch money, and sends him out the door on his way to the office. Mrs. Tanaka spends her days managing the household finances, as well as cooking.
Today we're going to
and taking an English language course. Meanwhile, Tanaka-san's commute to work is both soul-crushing and body-crushing. Tanaka is the editor-in-chief of the weekly tabloid Fun Fun, a news magazine for celebrity gossip, sensational scandals, and pictorials of buxom bombshells. Since I took over Fun Fun, he tells us, it's become Japan's most popular magazine, the best of the so-called 4F tabloids. Tanaka's salary is a modest $45,000 a year, but his expense account, a jaw-dropping $1 million. And that's where the evening fun begins. His first stop, a sushi dinner with clients, served on the belly of a blushing beauty. Next, he makes the rounds at various discotheques and nightclubs, and perhaps even a strip joint. Then finally, his favorite hangout, a high-class Ginza hostess bar, where clever, well-educated modern-day geisha pour your drinks, laugh at your jokes, and stroke your ego.
Please teach me English.
Your penis is a chopstick, and my vagina is the Pacific Ocean.
The cost to take clients to this club is about $4,000 a night, all on the company's tab. But here's the kicker, or rather the kickback. Tanaka receives a cash-stuffed envelope from the hostess bar each month, allowing him to convert part of his lavish expense account into cash in his pocket. This money is kept secret from both the taxman and Mrs. Tanaka. What does he do with all that extra dough? For starters, he has a mistress. He pays for her apartment and her luxurious lifestyle. His biggest expense, however, is his gambling habit, betting on the ponies. Unfortunately, Lady Luck has not been on Tanaka's side this year, and he now owes $200,000 in gambling debts to Yakuza loan sharks. Our hero staggers home after midnight. Drunk as a skunk, he passes out in his separate bedroom. On Saturdays, he plays golf with clients. And on Sundays, he sleeps the entire day. This process will be repeated week after week, year after year, until retirement or death, whichever comes first. Meanwhile, Mrs. Tanaka is no fool. She has her own secret nest egg stashed away, with no intention of ever taking care of Mr. Tanaka after he retires.
Once the children are old enough to move out, I will get a divorce and run off to Australia with my English teacher.
Long live Japan's economic bubble.
Okay. Thank you. So this last film, again, I've just started doing stuff with AI filmmaking this past summer, but I've made actually a total of like 14 films. This was the second most elaborate one And after I wrote the script, it took maybe 8 or 9 solid work days to generate all the images and edit it as I go, and get it all together. So all the voices, everything was all done with AI. I was the only one that worked on the movie. So that's all our introductions. We're open to talk about any kind of subject that you guys would like to talk about, and just have to ask any questions. And please come up to the microphone up here to ask questions. Who's up first? Akita, you look desperate to get up and ask something. You got to come up to the mic, though.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Well, let me think of a question. Okay, I would like to ask a question to Randy. What would you say is like the most difficult part when you use AI to make films or any type of videos?
Almost every shot in these movies of mine, I've had to like remake sometimes 100 times in order to get everything just right. There's weird AI things that happen. Some of the shots in this at the beginning, the black and white shots of like salarymen in offices in the 1950s. I have a lot of people walking through the shot. People are smoking, and there was women delivering tea, and they kept like walking through desks, or someone picks up a cup and the cup is still on the table, and now there's 2 cups, and there's a lot of weird AI things like that. And some of the subject matter involved some censorship issues where the apps wouldn't make images of like eating sushi off a woman's stomach, which is a real thing, by the way. But.
Yeah.
And a movie I've made since then, which perhaps after this event ends, if people are interested, I can show a new movie I just finished yesterday, or a 7-minute movie that was just filled with failed AI prompts that, because of very prudish sex and violence issues. Most of the apps, for instance, you can't even show, say, children. You couldn't make a movie about a high school student. It's not permitted. This movie you just saw, there was one quick shot on a crowded subway train. First, it kept rejecting the shot, saying like there's children in the shot, because there was like 3 high school students on a packed train. So the censorship goes pretty far with some of these apps, and it's very restrictive to try to make a movie when you can't even show a simple shot like that of a crowded train.
Okay, I have a follow-up question. So what was your first motivation when you started creating using AIs for videos?
So I got an AI app called Midjourney, which I was just using for some photo work. I was actually designing like a movie poster for another project. And then in July, it was announced that they started doing video. And I thought, well, what does that mean? So I just put a couple photos in and pressed a button, and it would animate them and bring them to life. And I thought, that's really interesting. And then what can I do with that? And then within weeks, I was making similar projects.
I see.
After a few test projects, then I started writing proper scripts and coming up with storylines.
Okay. So do you upload them on YouTube? And
yeah, these are all on YouTube except for the newest film.
I see.
So sometimes some film festivals. Douglas here would know this. Like some film festivals don't like you to have stuff out there on public, streaming places like YouTube or Instagram, because if a film festival accepts your film, they want to have like a premiere of it, basically. Agree? In some cases.
That would be the goal.
Yeah.
That would be the goal.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yep. Welcome. Yes. We should probably raise that mic. Oh, and please identify yourself.
Okay. Hi, I'm Ashima, and I work with Soka Gakkai. And I have a question for John, actually. I saw that you had a women's channel. And I'm just wondering if now there's more demand for women-led storytelling. And I mean, all the videos featured women. And I don't just mean seeing more women on screen, but really representing women's perspective or women-led direction, or when you're making any kind of production, is there some kind of consideration or committee of how minorities or people of color or women are represented in your filmmaking? Is that something that comes up during discussion, or?
Yes, it does. Well, first of all, Lifetime is. There we go. So Lifetime is our women's channel. We have it in Japan as a streaming service, so it's on Unext and Amazon and Hulu and a bunch of other ones. The content, we've only made one series in Japan for Lifetime, which is a funny series. You should watch it on. It's available. It's called Pet Telling. It's available on all these streamers. But in the U.S., we create tons of content, and always the effort is to present women and people of color in a positive light and make sure that we have enough diversity in all of our programs.
Lots of popular Christmas time.
Oh yes.
Romance.
Oh yeah.
Small town and.
And other ones too. Thrillers like the long lost younger sister comes back to the family, and then secretly tries to steal the husband of her older sister and kill her. So so things like that too. It's crazy
so
stuff.
Got a bit of an edge to them.
Yes,
now,
yeah. But also very nice,
right.
Heartwarming ones as well.
Okay.
So yeah. But yeah,
when I think of Lifetime, I think of those heartwarming Christmas stories. And
lots of those. Yeah. Christmas stories are not so big here, so. But for our one show that we did in Japan, it showed perspective of women who care about their pets and who dote on their pets, and they want to find out what the pets really think. So we hired a psychic to tell them, and they learned so much, and it's very heartwarming and that sort of thing. So. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Come on up.
My name's Joan, also working with Sokagaka. I used to be a member of AMLC. I had a question about the film's length, because we're in a world, obviously, where a lot of things are being delivered in very, very, very short amounts of time. And on the other hand, there still is presumably some case for longer explorations of more deeply investigated topics. So I'd just be very interested to see what you all feel about the future in that sense. Do you think it's going to go on getting shorter and shorter on the one hand and longer on the other, or is there going to be a sort of middle ground or something? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a strange time where it's both ways. You have people on Instagram that just want to see like a 30-second video, and then the same person will binge a 10-hour TV show on a weekend. So there's filmmaking done of so many different lengths. We're just talking about this new Ken Burns documentary about the American Revolution just came out. It's 12 hours long. Some people can deal with that. Some people can't. My new AI films, I'm trying to keep them all short because I don't think there's a market for anything really long, and people are flooded with so much content these days. They just don't really have a lot of time. But I'd like to hear John talk about this the A&E level.
Sure. Well, most of our shows are either 30 minutes or an hour long, so on TV. But it's true that all of our attention spans have really shortened significantly, and the way we watch has changed significantly. I mean, before you had to go home and sit down on your couch and turn the TV on. Now you can do it on the run with your phone. And when you're doing it on the run, of course, you can't devote an hour or even 30 minutes to watch a program unless you somehow have some free time or your train is an hour commute or something like that. So we're seeing the both sides of it, and we of course have a short form team who mainly produces for YouTube, and oftentimes we take our existing 30-minute to 60-minute programs and take out highlights or do a compilation of things. So there is a demand for the short form, but there's still demand for long form too, and it really again depends on what we all spoke about, the story. So if the story is interesting enough, you want to devote time to see it, and I think that will remain.
Yeah, I agree about but I think now it really depends on content, the platform. For example, if you want to see more long videos on social media, you go to YouTube. If you want to see short videos, TikTok or Instagram, it really depending on what you want to see, and also the format. YouTube format is still keeping the horizon, and they have short sections, but priority is horizon than vertical, right? So, but on TikTok or Instagram, there is no content on traditional horizon video format, right? And now also I don't know if you on Facebook. Sometimes on my Facebook appears some TV dramas, Chinese American TV dramas. So they catch your attention and send you to another application. They also are producing applications now, and they catch you, and you can see many tons of dramas with the same speech, but different.
So they call them verticals.
Yeah.
They literally call them verticals.
Also professional cameras now.
Industry.
Yeah, professional cameras has now the verticals format. So it's really depending on the timing, format, content, where you wanna find which platform yeah.
It is like you said, it's a multi-billion-dollar business. Started in China, and the business model is, you create 100 episodes. They're all a few minutes long, and they stop right at the moment when you want to see the next one, and then eventually you've got to buy them, and it ends up for all 100 episodes ends up being like $10, which you can buy a subscription for a SVOD service for that. So it's very lucrative business, and the costs are dirt cheap. You get 100 episodes, like $100,000 to make 100 episodes. So, and my colleagues, some of them are really into it, and they say, "Oh, that woman's wearing the same dress in this series as she is in the other one, or it's a different woman wearing the same dress." So they're saving money on that. So, but again, it started in China. Now it's taking off in the U.S., and some people are experimenting with it in Japan, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
But it's interesting because there was the Quibi story. So Quibi was that. Jeffrey Katzenberg started up that Quibi service that was several $1 billion of investment that just evaporated. It was a total failure. But their big thing was they would shoot episodic, like the same thing. They were longer, maybe 10-minute segments, and they had stars like John Travolta, Kevin Hart, and just threw money around like crazy. But their big thing was you could watch it vertically, or you could turn the camera horizontally, and it would suddenly reformat as horizontal. And then it was a total failure, and it was gone in months. And that was right around the pandemic time. So it was very, very strange that business model was a total failure, and now it's becoming a big success.
Exactly, yeah. And these are vertical only. They're also called microdramas.
Right. Even the CBS 60 Minutes was making special segments for Quibi.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So obviously they would shoot them, horizontal, but then they would edit them with a cropped vertical instead of 16 by 9, 9 by 16, and then it would just automatically shift. So it's like there's two videos playing at the same time, and it would just play whichever one you. So it was gimmicky. Like you could do that. You could just watch it like that for like 2 minutes, and then you're done.
Well, one of our clients in the Philippines also produces dramas. And what they're doing is they're shooting for vertical, but they're taking it the sides as well, so also making it so it could be dual
Oh, okay.
purpose. Yeah.
Right.
So that's an interesting.
Well, it
fact
makes
as
it easier
yeah.
to shoot them vertically and then just crop them
Yep.
in post anyway. And you could-
Yep.
Yeah, and also I think to shoot vertical, it changed totally the viewpoint because new cameras you can shoot on vertical format, but you need to put everything into the vertical. So yeah, you can cut from horizontal to vertical, but what I saw on that TV dramas, vertical TV dramas, is like everything is inside a very narrow space than comparing to horizontal space or square as before in old TV, right?
As a cameraman, do you hate vertical video as much as I do?
No, I'm open to new technologies because it's technologies and people. If you don't do it, someone gonna do it. And influencers, companies are moving to. It's like when digital cameras started, newspapers say that to have a newspaper on internet, it's impossible. Nobody likes to read news on computers.
Right.
It's like that. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean that's what I thought 30 years ago.
Yeah.
When digital cameras were first coming out, it's like, no. You print photos and put them in photo albums. Who wants to look at a picture on a computer screen? Could be more wrong about that, but.
I have a question. So in that.
Yeah, speak louder. Come back to the mic. Sorry, you need to pick up the mic.
So about this topic, so in this sense, do you think that VRs will be like the mainstream format for journalism or any kind of like content for the next generation?
Well, I think it's an interesting gimmicky thing. Like I once went to an Apple shop and they gave me like a one-on-one, 1 hour demonstration of their VR, and it was amazing. But I don't really see it as again, when I was just talking about who wants to see pictures on a computer screen, I know that I don't know the future, but it seems to me that it's not a great storytelling technique. It's just kind of gimmicky. Like, I just don't know how you would really tell some kind of a story that different people could experience. So it doesn't really work for me as a medium. But, I also know that I don't know. What do you guys think of VR?
Well, maybe if you asked me this question last year, I could say that in case of picture, nobody wants to publish AI picture on their websites. But recently I saw some media who are creating AI pictures about the prime minister or something like that as an illustration. So honestly, I don't know what is gonna be, because maybe for video is gonna be something happen, but important is not cross the line to fake news. So I think it's important, and governments or organizations discuss about the topic that society shouldn't cross the line of what is real and what is not real, because it's really, really dangerous. So if someday you don't notice what is real and what is not real, someone can lie in you, and it's going to be propaganda. And we know what is happening if a government says, this is the enemy, this nation is enemy, the women's are enemy, men's are enemy. We know. So maybe it's not so, we don't have time for this topic, but it's quite sensitive.
Yeah, I mean, that day has already arrived.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to talk a little bit on that subject. As someone that's worked in both network news and AI, I can say, like, AI has no business being involved in news on any level. I can see its use in, say, making a documentary, and say, like I just mentioned, Ken Burns has a new American Revolution documentary, and there's a lot of docudrama footage in it of American Revolution soldiers and whatnot, which they shot with real people. But like a lower cost, lower budget documentary could create old scenes, you know, samurai battle, something like that, with AI, and I think that's a legitimate use. You know, it's the same as shooting a live action docudrama segment. You're just making it with AI. But yeah, it should never cross into the field of actual news. And of course, it's doing that now. There's deep fakes of things at a time when mainstream media is being like downsized and pushed out. And they were really the gatekeepers of you know, vetted news and truth. And as they go away, and you just see stories on Instagram and whatnot, it's getting harder and harder to tell what's real and what's fake. And I'm using AI to make narrative films. I'm not ever trying to like deceive anyone. I hate all those short little fake Sora's that app that is very popular now. I really can't stand those videos, and you know, they cheapen the industry of someone that's trying to make like a narrative story, as I'm trying to do. And also at the same time, AI is wiping out a lot of industries and professions. For example, it's sad. Like I used to do a lot of stop motion animation, and I would never go back to it now because it's so time consuming and so labor intensive, and I could do something very similar in much shorter time period. So a lot of sort of professions will go away. Even in my film, like the narrator is all AI. It's actually, I sampled a voice from the movie Citizen Kane, and I recreated this like sort of newsreel announcer's voice that I can write a script and he can say whatever I want him to say, and I can emphasize certain words and put whatever pauses in. So voice talent people are losing jobs. You could go on to a music app and you could create a film score in an hour, you know, 20 different versions of it. For $15. So it's a tough time for film composers. Just a lot of professions are going to have a tough time. But in Hollywood, they always say like cheaper and faster, cheaper and faster. And AI makes a lot of things cheaper and faster. So, you know, it's not going anywhere. And I've seen it so many improvements in the apps in the past 4 months. So it's hard to even imagine what they're going to be able to do like a year from now or 5 years, 10 years from now.
So we at A&E Global Media, we do use AI as a tool because it saves money and it's faster. But we set our own guidelines. So we won't create humans, likenesses of humans, or their voices. Simply there are too many legal issues around that. I think you all probably remember when ChatGPT tried to use a voice that sounded like Scarlett Johansson, and they got sued. So the legal factor is really an issue, and also we're not going to create a story with AI. All the stories come from humans, so that's not going to change. And we've even used AI in Japan as well, but to make Mount Fuji erupt or other things like that, natural scenes and stuff like that, but not humans. But I'm not in journalism. We do documentaries. So recreating, you know, old scenes from the past that would cost millions to recreate as a docudrama. We still do docudramas, so, but sometimes it's helpful to do that. And we have some shows.
But would you show people then?
No,
okay.
we don't show people.
So,
so
but do you think that policy will hold 2 years from now?
I don't know. Well, one of our great shows, we have a series called, and we have a new series coming out called Life Without People.
Okay.
So it's what happens if Earth
Okay.
all humans disappear, and so that a lot of that's AI. So
Mhm.
all showing crumbling buildings and natural disasters and things like
There's
that.
still
So
animals?
There are still animals, and we
Okay.
can we can create those. Yeah,
Okay.
that's no problem. But it may change. You know, if the legal issues change, that might be
Mhm.
an issue. But right now, that's too unclear, and you know, we can't really say. But I do agree with both my colleagues that AI doesn't have a place in journalism. It's got to be real, authentic.
I could even say, like, when I was at CBS, I asked if it would be okay to use, there's a program called Topaz, which is just an upscaling program to take, like, say, old standard definition footage and just upscale it so it's, you know, HD and maybe a little sharper. And I was told no. That you can't mess with the footage, even any slight change to the footage. Not acceptable, even if it was just trying to make it look, you know, cleaner and better. It was still not allowed, which is good. Questions? Yeah.
I'm Marie from FGS Global, which is a business communication advising company. I worked as a public relations specialist so far, and I have I have 3 questions from corporate side. Number one, you've already discussed the impact of AI. But how do you predict the television and film industry will change over the next maybe 5 to 10 years? And the second question is, what do you prioritize most when creating works with international market in mind? And the last question is, what do you think is necessary for Japanese and Asian related content to expand globally?
Well, I just would say, in terms of the movie industry, I think there'll be probably cinemas will probably continue to go away. Less people will go to cinemas. And this isn't helped by sometimes movie companies, or Netflix just released the movie Frankenstein, which has had a very, very short theatrical run and then was right on their streaming channel, like right away. So even a movie like that probably could have done well in cinemas was just in the cinemas for such a brief period of time that even the studios aren't supporting cinemas in a proper way. So I think you'll have some big event pictures that'll be in like IMAX, and then a lot of these kind of smaller shoebox theaters I think will start going away. Sadly, but you know, people get bigger and bigger screens at home, and they're cheap, and it's much less expensive to watch something at home than to go out.
So I think I agree with that. But your question about international, I think we're seeing this huge trend, which is going on for quite some time, of local content being much more relevant to audiences rather than everything coming from Hollywood. And Japan is a big example of that. You know, Hollywood used to dominate everything, all box office. Now it's the complete reverse, and you're lucky to have a movie in the top 10 from Hollywood. And so we're trying to create as much content as we can here because it's more relevant, and we understand the audience, the local audience, better than our people in the U.S. So it's a really important thing, and it's going to be more and more important. And the more companies creating local content, the more successful they will be, I believe.
Well, I think AI, we need to understand that AI is a tool. And, you know, for example, I'm not good playing piano or creating songs, music, but I have the idea. And now, because of the new technologies, I can create any kind of music, song. So this is the opportunity for someone who has a good idea but don't know or don't have skills to do it. So we, in my opinion, it's just a tool. How do you use it? Is good or bad? Is is really up to you. And maybe in the couple years, AI is gonna, some people gonna produce documentary, indie movies. It's gonna be a new kind of create movies or cinema, and then companies maybe gonna see them and say, oh, this guy, we didn't find him before because he was not involved in the industry, but he has great ideas. Why don't we invite him? Something like that. Because of the AI, maybe he can become famous. In the case of your third question about how Japanese contents can be worldwide, in Mexico, when I was kid, we received many animation cartoons, because at that moment, the story is at that moment, to buy license of American cartoons was expensive, more expensive than Japanese cartoons. So Mexican TV company buy the license of Japanese cartoons, and we receive not only Mexico, all Latin America, because we translate the cartoons to for all Latin America. We receive the cartoons, buy the license and translate and distribute to other countries. So in my opinion, the way to approach to other countries is just to negotiate licenses. Open to the offers to other countries. Sometimes, for example, the animations. Sometimes Japanese industry protect a lot their contents, and this one makes that people try to download by themselves, just a little bit more open to the other countries. How manage? It's I mean the win-win business. I think. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not specialized in this kind of business, but yeah, that's my opinion. Yeah.
What was your third question answered?
Third question was what do you think is necessary for Japanese and Asian related content or news to expand globally?
That's a question for you.
Okay, and he, of course, touched on it. Look, we've seen Korean content have massive success around the world, and I think Doug has looked at this quite deeply. But I think the real cause of why Japan has not been able to duplicate that is that Japan makes for the Japanese market, and the market is big enough to still make money doing that. And you haven't had a lot of experimentations with styles, or even a thought of what would someone in Thailand like, or someone in the U.S. or Europe. There's been little thought to that. But Korea has focused on that, and they had government support for it, and it was a concerted effort by the government and the industry to really go global on the music side as well as the film and TV side. So I think that's the big difference, and Japan is trying to duplicate that now and thinking about that, but still they have their old way of making things, and which doesn't resonate as well. However, anime is now hugely successful, and they're not making it with international audiences in mind. They're making it with Japanese audiences in mind, and they're telling stories based on successful manga for the most part, and that has resonated. And I think anybody who's had exposure to Western comics and animation and Japanese can immediately see that the stories are so much more deeper and the characters are so much more complex. It's really engaging, and so that's, I think, why. And of course, it's written and drawn beautifully, and usually they have scores that are really amazing. So especially Ghibli. So that really has driven their success. So we'll see on the live action side if Japan can pull it out. I think what we're seeing is a lot of tie-ups between Japanese production companies and international production companies. That is really a great way for Japanese companies to learn how to expand elsewhere, and also for international companies to understand what kind of stories. And Japan has so many stories that could be told. Such a deep culture that if people would focus more on it, it would be successful. And we saw the great success with Shogun. And that was filmed in Canada, So, why couldn't it be filmed here? And that's another one of his points as well. You could ask him all about that. I think with Shogun, I think people are saying, okay, maybe we can tell stories. And the reason why that was successful was because it was authentic, because you had Sanada, making sure it was authentic. So I think that was a big difference there.
With Shogun, my understanding is it wasn't as popular in Japan.
Correct, yeah.
Very popular overseas, but just not in Japan. And of course, it's been greenlit for 2 more seasons.
Yep.
And then I know we're not talking about music, but Korea obviously has those producing companies that will package up these bands. I went to Korea for CBS to profile the group BTS, and the control over these groups is just it's very difficult. It was much more difficult than shooting doing a story about the president. It was very, very complicated. But Japan, of course, they had that company, Johnny's. They had their scandals. But are there many music producing companies that are packaging people on anywhere near the level of Korea in terms of finding people and putting them in dorms and teaching them all these dance moves and lessons and?
Yeah, big example is LDS, who does. Oh God, what's the big? I forget now. They're big, and they have a whole studio and a whole way of graduating people, young kids, into becoming stars. AVEX is trying to do things, and we're also seeing a collaboration with Japanese labels and Korean labels, where they create joint bands where there's mixed, Japanese and Korean people in there.
But so it's just not catching on with the West.
Not yet, yeah, but we'll see. And I had a chance to see a talk done by the current head of the Cultural Affairs Ministry, or not ministry, agency. And he said, well, when he was much younger, back in the 90s, J-pop was really popular across Asia, and these Korean guys would come to him and say, how can we emulate you and become popular? And he said, well, good luck, But then now we see that they've done it.
Flipped over.
And one tactic they use is that they use government funds to help promote elsewhere. One tactic was they would get paid to get airtime on radio in Mexico. And then people would say, the record industry in the U.S. would go, why is this popular in Mexico? These Korean bands. And then they got interest into it and started sort of adopting them. So that's one cool tactic. I thought, well, I didn't know that. And I don't know how true it is, but that's what he said. So I believe it is true. So
yeah, actually, there is some soap operas, Korean soap operas, who come to Mexico regarding with the support of the Korean government. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and also, for TV series, Japan used to dominate Asia for movies, and then Korea's really taken over, and also with TV, Squid Game.
But Squid Game has actually a very similar storyline to a Japanese manga.
Yeah.
Not people know about,
But Japan has never
didn't
produced anything near Squid Game. Yeah. Okay, any other questions as we... Yes.
Hi, I'm Pauline. I'm the columnist for Taiwan Top Magazine. Before my questions, I have one observation that might be interesting to all of you. I mean, we talk about the movie kind of goers go down. One observation I have about Japan's market is probably somewhat different. I don't know whether you have ever gone to a movie on the discount days, like special Wednesdays, special Mondays, and you see all those older generations. They all go to movies these days. It's full house. Like it's amazing, actually. I think they use that as a kind of social occasion to meet friends, and it's also because they got a special discount. They actually like to go to movies more than they watch TV at home. So that might be, if you see, I think this year's number probably a bit different. If you see the end of the year about the moviegoers number, maybe it's surprising it's not going down. It's probably going up. A part of that is also probably because the younger generation go to see the animation. There are quite some few hits this year. So just some interesting observation so maybe in the future for Asian, because there's an aging society in China, in Taiwan, or Hong Kong, these trends might come back, to go to movie theaters again. I don't know. So one question for Randy, one question for John. Randy, when you went to North Korea, don't you feel it's kind of life-threatening experience because they have really kind of strong control over the contents that they want you to present? If you don't follow their instructions, maybe in the future when you try to go back again, you will feel some kind of insecurity in terms of
Well, the perfect example is what I said when I was, it was demanded that I delete some footage, and I tricked them. I lied to them, and then the footage I shot was broadcast. And then, when I went back there again, I was hoping I didn't see the same minder, but I did, and I was at the airport, having just arrived, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw him approaching, and I thought, oh, this could be the end of the trip that hasn't even started yet. And then he just gave me like a big welcome hug and welcome back to North Korea, and it's 50-50 that he saw the story and he realized that he was tricked. But if he didn't tell anyone that he demanded that the footage was be deleted, he comes across good in the finished story because he's like being authoritative and telling them like you have to follow the rules or you can never come back here. So maybe he saw the footage, maybe not. I don't know. But other trips to North Korea, I did some things there that if I had to do them again, I would do, that they were kind of risky actions. And there was another trip that we were kind of put in lockdown. We thought we would become hostages. It was a complicated story, but it was when I went on a trip for when they were going to, Kim Jong-un offered to blow up his nuclear test tunnels at actually a fake location. And then Donald Trump, while we were still in the country, said he canceled his trip to meet Kim Jong-un at the first summit, and we were put in lockdown. They shut off all our communications, and we were locked inside our hotel. And I think they were trying to figure out, they wouldn't let us fly out. They were trying to figure out what to do with us. And then Trump changed his mind, and we were released, and everything was fine.
Thank you for sharing your story. Just curious. Thank you. And for John, I think when you see because you made so many movies and TV series, when you see the trend going on like worldwide, what are the kind of new trends that you're seeing and you think will continue for a while, for the next 1 or 2 years, in terms of topics, in terms of the way you shoot the movies or TV series, some new things, if you can share?
Well, yeah, thank you. I think we touched a little bit on that already with microdramas or verticals. That's a new trend that may be permanent. We'll see how that goes. I think people in other countries are trying to experiment. It's successful in China and U.S., not really elsewhere yet. We'll see. The other thing we see in our industry, which hasn't come to Asia yet, is a concept called FAST. Doesn't mean quickly. It means free advertising-supported streaming TV. So our company has 68 channels, and basically it's TV that's on the internet that's scheduled. So just like regular TV that you're used to, but there's ads. So just like regular TV that you're used to. So a consumer doesn't have to pay for it. So it's more of a lean back type of viewing experience where I think we've all experienced where we're going on some streaming service like Netflix or Disney, and you're spending a half an hour trying to find something and you can't find anything you want. With Fast, they have hundreds of channels, and it's all very niche subjects. So I'm in the mood for a thriller, and so there's a thriller channel. Or I'm in the mood for SpongeBob, and there's a 24-hour SpongeBob channel. I mean, you've got all these choices, and for a company like us, what we do is we are just taking our library content and monetizing it. So before we weren't monetizing our library content, or sometimes we could sell it to a third party, but all the new stuff goes on TV or SVOD platforms first, and then we take our old library stuff, package it into a specific genre, sell some ads on it, and distribute as wide as we can. So that's a trend that I think will come to Asia. As we discussed before, I think local content is already much more important and will become more so. And the dominance of Hollywood is gone. And it's great to see wonderful content from around the world travel much more than they used to. So I think that's going to be a permanent trend.
And on that note, we've reached our time limit. It's 8:30 now. So thank you all for coming here today, and hope you got something out of it.